What's up, gamers? We're back with another episode of TalkGG. And I think it's been about 2 weeks since we had our last episode. So it's becoming more of a bi-weekly thing, but we're back. Defur and Dave, who has gotten a haircut. Hello, Dave.
Hey, what's up?
Way to call you out, right?
I feel attacked.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
We're back, and it's episode 5. And today we're switching it up. We kind of realized that doing two topics with our big brains, we're just gonna keep on talking for hours and pretty much exhaust ourselves and pretty much anyone who's listening to it as well. So for the viewer's sake and our sake as well, we've kind of slimmed down the format today, and we're gonna go into one topic, which is gonna be about streaming platforms. And later on, we're gonna have use some plugs and shit. We did have a Q&A section that we were gonna plan, but we didn't really advertise it that well. But if you're listening to this, then you can ask us questions. We have a new module on Twitch, so you can go into the About section on my profile on Twitch, and you can write us questions, and we will answer them at the end of the episode. So hopefully, in the long run, that will be a fun thing for us to have some random shit coming our way, flung at us in unexpected ways. But with that being said, I think we're just gonna jump into it today. I feel like we're both ready, and we're just gonna get there.
All right.
So, talking about the new era of streaming platforms, a lot has happened in the world of streaming lately, with platforms shutting down and new ones coming in. We're stepping into a new era where companies are rapidly trying to one-up each other. In an age where console wars are no longer, streaming platforms are shaping up to take their place as they try to be the best, with nerds pledging their allegiance to them based on the influencers they house. Today we're taking a closer look at the streaming platforms and what they offer, as well as our hot takes on each one of them. Now that's a really mouthful intro there, but there has been a lot of things happening in the streaming world, both regarding the influencers, and we'll get to that later, but also the platforms themselves. And I think it's been maybe the last 1 or 2 months, a lot of changes has come through. People are signing to different platforms, and Mixer, got shut down, or is shutting down. Was announced earlier this week. So there's a lot of things happening. New platforms has come in. So we'll kind of discuss all of this kind of different parts here. And I think the biggest news that came out like earlier this week was the fact that Mixer was shutting down. I don't think a lot of people kind of anticipated it, but it just kind of came out of the blue. I don't think even their partners anticipated it. As far as I've understood it, people that were partnered on Mixer, they just got the information when it was posted on social media, which I can understand being very, not so nice when it's some people's livelihood. They've built up a community on that service for a few years, but I guess ultimately the platform just didn't succeed like Microsoft wanted to, who kind of tried to shape up that platform to be I don't want to say Twitch killer. That's like the fucking the most stupidest thing ever. It's like when
WoW killer.
Yeah, the World of Warcraft killer, or like I feel like every big like the Dota killer, or everything like that. It has their stupid ones, but I think they at least wanted to position themselves as the alternative to Twitch. And we saw people like Shroud and Ninja who made the switch over to Mixer. And made a lot of money to do that switch. They got some insane contracts, and I think it was really interesting to read this entire thing, specifically about Shroud and Ninja, but other people have probably been involved as well. That they they were approached. They were bought out by Mixer by a shit ton of money, and I'm like speaking millions here, US dollars, and to go and move on to Mixer, to be their kind of exclusive platform to stream on. And then I think Facebook approached them, both of them, to buy them out from Mixer, and then they said no, and then told Mixer, okay, Facebook is giving us this offer, what are you gonna do in that? So Mixer gave them even more money to stay on the platform, and then and then Mixer shuts down, and those they got the money, but the contract is not eligible anymore. They can just do whatever they want now instead.
Oh, I thought I interpreted that as Facebook wanted to poach them. Well, Facebook is taking the Mixer. Basically, everyone on Mixer, Facebook is now their new home or something like that, right? Because Microsoft's agreement with Facebook is to transfer all of the partners.
Oh yeah.
But Shroud and Ninja, instead of like accepting that and going to Facebook, they just said nah, and Mixer's like,
you're right.
well, we just have to give them their money, right?
No, but yeah, you're right. It's been a long week.
But they made it out as like bank robbers or like barons or oil barons or something, dude. Like their contract wasn't even like, they were like what, 8 months in or something, or like less. Yeah, they made a shit ton of money.
Yeah, it's like insane. I think there was mentions of like 30 million or something like that in those levels, which is it's crazy to like. It's so weird because I still remember, when the people really didn't have these kind of levels of money when it came to streaming, but I don't remember when it shifted. I remember like the back in the day, like 2012 StarCraft era, where you wanted to see some gameplay and shit. You got to see that, and then it's like, oh well, they got on a team, but they're paid shit, and then influencers came, and I don't know. I think a lot of things happened the last, I guess, like 6 years to kind of build up this, but it's insane when you
around the last 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, but it became super clear when you see those numbers. It's just like, well, here I am with my day job, and then the fucking like the Smurf gets like 30 million,
Well, that's why everyone wants to like get into streaming and stuff like that, right? Like first it was, let's get into competitive games. Like now you have to be in the 0.0001% to be there. Now it's like, let's get into streaming, and like we've talked about it before too, that it is a real job, right? Like maybe there's no in the States, like we don't have a W-2 for that. You don't get a 401k or whatever. Like there's no corporation that or any school program you can go through to become a professional streamer. But there's actual skill sets that you have to do stuff like that. And so I respect the hustle. It's just it happens so quick, right? Like I remember back when I was watching like Justin TV streamers for the first time, like Destiny, right? It's like, oh look, that's cool. This guy cleans carpets during the day and streams StarCraft during the night. And then a few years later, he wrote this like really weird post on Reddit or something, and he was just saying like, yeah, it's just strange to me now to realize like I meet people and I just think to myself like, oh, I make so much more money than these people. And I'm like, what? But it's true, because like he had like sponsorships, or he still does. Like he has sponsorships, he gets ad revenue, and like all these different content deals. And it's all new territory, right? Like all these people have had to figure it out. Just there's no roadmap for them, so it's really interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting though, thinking about these different platforms. Like for me, I don't know what relationship you had with Mixer in terms of a platform, but for me, I think
I had no relationship with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's so weird. I think one of the things that actually made me like turned off by the platform the most is the fact that you have to have a Microsoft account, or you have to have like a Microsoft email, the live or the Hotmail ones. And it was so jarring to me, like, because I had an account in this earlier, but then I think a couple of months back, there was a tournament there, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go in there. Oh wait, I couldn't and I'll make a new account, and then it's just like, okay, I have to remember my Microsoft account. It's like, what? I haven't used that in like 5 years. But it was interesting to see kind of, I guess, the focus Mixer had, because to me, Mixer, I guess their focus was mostly to create this kind of like nurturing smaller communities, and then they also on top of that, brought in these like big profiles to kind of see if they could make people switch over from Twitch. But I just feel like the website, or it just didn't have any kind of personality, or like it didn't feel like any culture or anything like that. There is like Twitch culture, right?
Right.
And it's for sure it's been made by for I don't know how many years now, but with all the freaking emotes are used as words, like you can express an emotion with an emote made on this website. and even like modified emotes. It's on an insane level, and I feel like when I went into a stream on Mixer, it was just like it was super personal because I knew no one was there. It's kind of, but you know, like it's weird because it's like the top streamer always was just like, you know, I think even Ninja and Shroud didn't have that good viewership when they were on the platform. I think they were maybe in 1,000 or like one, maybe top like 1 to 3K viewers. And then, you know,
Oh
you're,
yeah,
yeah,
considering like they normally pulled in 10,000 plus, right?
yeah.
At a time.
And I actually looked at Ninja's stream the other week because he was actually playing in a qualifier that we hosted for GLL. So we had a Valorant tournament there, and he put together, you know, some random mixed team and played in the qualifiers. So I looked at his stream, and it was just like everyone that was in chat was, you know, that everyone there was like, were there his diehard fans. You know, it was not just
Yeah.
like, you know, on Twitch you can, especially with the big ones, it's just like, you know, they have their fans, they also have their non-fans, or
And you get the annoying person goes, "What game are you playing?"
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, you have a different, you know, variety. But I felt on Mixer was just like, you know, the people that have Ninja posters and merchandise in their, like, plastered all over the room. That's where I felt like I went into, and that was weird, like seeing that chat and being like, well, I don't fit in here. Like, what the fuck am I feel like I've entered a room where I'm not supposed to be. You know, like one of those tiny closed off bars in Tokyo where you're just like, you enter a room and there's just like 5 people there.
Everyone
You're like,
looks at you,
yeah,
and
you're
you're
like,
like,
well, shit, now I ruined the mood.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, and it's interesting too to, like, I don't know, I never felt that Mixer had a chance, so it didn't really surprise me. I mean, like, I'm not trying to sound too negative here, but it's just like I never
Well, we have
felt.
the numbers to back it up. Forbes like had posted an article not too long ago, and they had a graphic comparing the American streaming services.
Yeah,
And like it's actually really crazy because like Twitch, like so streaming as an industry. Actually, I should pull it up, see if I can pull up that image. Streaming as an industry experienced a huge amount of growth. Like we're talking over 100% improvement,
yeah,
but almost all of that is attributed to Twitch.
yeah.
You know, like that's how insane it is. Like, okay, April 2019, 750 million hours watched.
Oh, Jesus.
And then the asterisk is that 819 million if you include non-gaming content.
Yeah.
In April 2020, which is, you know, in the middle of a pandemic, it became like 1.491 billion. So the improvement is 98% or 101% if you include non-gaming
I love I just love the
hours.
comparison there for the Mixer as well. That the what is it?
Yeah.
YOY? What does that stand for again?
Oh, year over year.
Yeah, year growth
So
percentage, and
yeah,
it's
the saddest part is that so YouTube, Facebook, YouTube and Facebook have actually experienced growth, like 65%,
mm,
238%, right? Their numbers, their pure numbers are low. You
yeah,
know, 279 million and 86 million. Mixer actually wasn't that bad off.
yeah,
Well, actually no. 30 that's supposed to be a decimal or a comma. 37.044 million, right?
yeah.
Their improvement from last year to this year is 0.2%. They couldn't even increase their audience size by like 1%
Yeah,
over an entire year during a pandemic. And
yeah,
so I'm not surprised they shut down. And
mm,
like it's funny that like, you know, we're kind of talking about like what's our relationship with Mixer, right? And I think the entire fact that it was so out of mind for all of us, like, is a sign
mm,
that like, hey, maybe this isn't gonna work out, right?
yeah,
Like I would constantly see tweets by Slasher, where he would literally say like, oh, and I don't know about Mixer's numbers because like, you know, there's only like 5 people on Mixer anyway. It's just like, oh, it's such a crude joke, right? But
yeah,
like honestly, yeah, who was on Mixer, right?
yeah,
And of course there were clearly people there. It's just that the people who are the partners that are leaving Mixer now, I think have complained that basically Microsoft didn't do anything to support Mixer. You
yeah,
know, like people have been complaining for years about Twitch, but Twitch will at least throw you a bone of some sort, right? Every now and then. Like, we're gonna get into it later, but they've addressed certain concerns, you know?
Yeah.
They've at least done the bare minimum to
Yeah.
like, you know, appease people. I don't know if that's the case with Mixer.
Yeah.
Because
I kind of wanted to point out too, because that made me think of that, like, even just seeing their logo types now and kind of what they mean to me when I see Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Mixer like next to each other. It's the fact that, so what is that brand, like, what does it mean to you, and like what is it coupled with, right? And so when I look at Twitch, it's the culture, right? It's what, it's the top of the line, like it's the news, you get it there first. It's the culture, everyone is there. That's the thing. With YouTube, I mean, it has its flaws, but it's like the fucking most gigantic database of videos and that you can get, and it's the best way to watch a video afterwards, because it's, you know, even if you have shit internet, you can watch anything, because the auto kind of coding, I mean, it compresses the crap out of videos, but you know, it does so for a reason, so that everyone can watch videos on their platform. And so there is all, like, even for people on Twitch, they always have a YouTube channel where they, you know, put their VODs out, or they put the content to kind of work together in tangent with Twitch. And then so I can understand that for people who are streaming on YouTube, it's just like less clicks away to find the content. Like if you're following or you're subscribed to be honest, I don't even know that many streamers on YouTube, but if you do watch someone there and then like I want to see the VODs, it's just like it's right there on the same channel, right? And then third, looking at Facebook, it's just like, well, you know, Facebook didn't I mean, it has come into the streaming world on a kind of a different perspective, but
it
everyone
almost feels like, hey, it's us but gaming.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not sold on that, but I think a lot of people are you know, everyone for the last like decade has had some sort of relationship with Facebook. Now, you know, whether or not they've like canceled or deleted their accounts with the latest years of, you know, fuck ups that they've done. I think almost like it almost feels like the majority of the Western world has had a Facebook account at some point, even if they deleted it. And so I feel like even that is just closer to like, oh, I know that website. But then if you then look at those three and then look at Mixer, it's like, okay, what other services does Mixer have to couple with that? It's just like, oh, it's a streaming website. Okay, cool. But like, what else is it? Yeah, it's that's what it is. And it's like, well, you can connect it to your like Microsoft services, and it's like, what do you mean, like Skype? Like, what do you want to do there? Or like Outlook? Ooh, sexy.
Microsoft Teams?
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, I mean, some corporate maybe, but they're not into gaming. So they're like, the overlap is like not even there, you know. It's so when you see it from that angle, it's just like, it feels like an impossible battle to me when I'm just comparing the two. And if you do couple that again with what you said of that they didn't really work with their partners at all, then it's just like, it's just a recipe for disaster. It almost feels like.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, the sad thing is like Mixer was called Beam before they were acquired by Microsoft.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, some people were thinking that like, you know what they should have done is they should have just left it as Beam and just like ran it as it was, right? I mean, it's one of those things where I feel like, you know, maybe not history repeats itself, but like, the reason why I think it's interesting is because when Twitch came around, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't the first thing on the block, right? There was like livestream.com, there was oh my gosh, what was that one that I can't remember? There were like three, like one of them was super popular in Japan. One, you know, Justin TV was another one, and then there was
maybe
another
Open Rec?
live stream. Open Rec? No, it was maybe Open Rec is the rebranding of it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure though. But like, you know, you always have a handful of them, right? And Twitch only became a thing because Justin TV had like they had enough of an audience and they had some sort of like overhead, and in a way, it was like we gotta find a way to get the money,
Yeah.
right? So Twitch became a thing because they realized, oh, video games are really important now, and so they spun off the brand.
Mm.
And the irony is that Twitch actually just becomes way bigger than
Yeah.
just in TV. And then, like we said, they go full circle into like, hey, just chatting is now like one of the big things, right? But they've like that's already happened. Like you can't go back in time and change all that, right? So Twitch is now this like giant mountain that everyone has to like look up to. And so like I feel like trying to I don't know, like I guess what I'm saying is like the whole branding issue I feel like was unfortunate.
Yeah.
Like hey, we want to take an established brand and then change them.
Mm.
Like I think that just like made things worse for Mixer, honestly. And
Yeah.
honestly like think about the name Mixer. Like to me that means um social event, right?
Yeah.
That you go to like I don't know, like meet people and befriend people and stuff like that. Or it's a soft drink you add to an alcoholic drink. Like okay, like
Yeah.
um like yeah, I get it, but then this doesn't scream like, streaming people playing video games, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, I totally agree. And I think um, another thing that I kind of thought about too is the fact that the other platforms that we've mentioned, and it's a thing that I actually have learned now through my work as a content manager in esports, is that the different focuses of the local areas for these different platforms is also very huge. It's very interesting to me to see, like, when we talk about Facebook gaming, it's definitely from like a Western English speaking perspective, right?
Yeah.
And it's more, especially for a Swede, it's like it's so easy to just think about Twitch. Yeah, like who gives a shit about Facebook, right? But then I for sure, for a fact, know that Facebook is like huge in both Latin America and in Southeast Asia and a bunch of countries
Right.
there. And I think it's just I'm always like trying to understand why. Like why is it better there? And I think it's just like the culture of using Facebook is different in those regions, like in general, like
Yeah.
what you actually share and how do you use a share function and stuff like that. It was super interesting to me. Like, so if I in my family and friends circle on Facebook, the things that you share, like if you have a friend on Facebook that shares a lot of stuff, they're like super annoying, right? They share like stuff from like an ignorant group, or they share like fucking, I don't know, like
Too many
funny,
memes.
yeah, memes, or like especially like boomer memes, or like funny, what is it, like animal videos, like cute animal videos.
Yeah.
I mean regretfully so, I watch
Yeah.
a lot of them too, but
Or they share that like pass this on to 5 other people
yeah.
for good luck.
But then when we, as an example, when we posted stuff in GLL, and we mention like a streamer that has a Facebook page, and this person is gonna stream. We had this initiative of Southeast Asia streamers playing auto chess, right? And when we tagged the streamers there, like maybe a guy from Indonesia, right? He had like 30 people sharing that post on their Facebook page, and like, oh, my favorite streamer is playing. But I can't even imagine that, because if I do that, like like none of my family members are like, who the fuck, like, what are you watching games, son? Like, what are you doing? No one gives a shit about that. But they, in that, like, even seeing, because I read through all the, because you can see like who shared what, and it's just like,
Yeah.
people are just like, hey, I love games, go look at it. And it feels such a like more relaxed vibe on how to use Facebook in general.
Oh, that's awesome.
And also the usage of like groups and stuff, like people are in a ton of groups, and they're like, I don't know, there's a system there that I think a lot of, especially like English speaking people, don't really understand how other cultures, especially from when I saw it, I'm like, what, this is like an entire new world for me. And I feel it's a bit similar with YouTube as well. Like I watch YouTube videos like daily. Like
Yeah.
I've done that since 2005 or 6, or like when it came out. which is sad.
You know
But
that YouTube started as a dating site?
I did not know that. That's
It's
insane.
like one of those crazy, like, excuse me, types of like fun facts to throw out at a nerd party.
That's insane. I don't know. I remember when YouTube came out because it was so much easier to like share stuff because you didn't have to like link some
Yeah,
shady website.
yeah.
But also like what I wanted to get at is that I use YouTube a lot, but I don't understand the intricacies of YouTube. I think
Oh, like its
that's
community.
yeah, and like how even the gaming website, like the part on the gaming like part of
Oh,
YouTube.
right.
I don't understand the website, and I feel like that's maybe that's me becoming a boomer, but it's almost like
I know, right?
I think the I think what I'm trying to get at is that Facebook and YouTube, while they have this like established relationship with a lot of people in the world, for me it's like working on a negative thing where I already know what the relationship is, but I'm like an old dog that won't learn new tricks. That I'm just like, no, that's what it is. Like I can't accept YouTube as a
Yeah.
streaming website. It's just YouTube for videos, you know,
Well,
and
well, to be fair, like you and I are very, very ingrained in that culture of what do you think of when you mention live streaming? The first thing we think of is Twitch, right?
yeah,
We, I mean, we're, we're not beholden to Twitch necessarily, but as a brand, it clearly has done its job
mm,
to kind of like psychologically program us to think of them,
mm,
whenever it comes to live streaming, right? And I think what you're pointing to is really interesting because like I got a glimpse of that like Facebook regionality culture from when I worked abroad, and it was like it was a company that catered to multinationals, right? Or like basically to different regions across the world. And yeah, the way we had to use it to advertise to people was different. The language had to be different. The way you kind of like interact with your users was completely different.
yeah,
And yeah, it's purely because, people in Indonesia want to do this and that. Like they use Facebook for this. They love it when their influencers are all over Facebook. For us, it's just so funny to hear people say shit like, "Oh, Facebook, who uses that now?" And I was like, why would you even like how is that even a real
yeah,
question? Like Facebook is such a huge platform, right? But that's because honestly, in American pop culture, Facebook has become old. Like
yeah.
we've had it for so long now
Yeah.
that people would rather move to its subsidiary, Instagram, right? But then in Southeast Asia, Facebook might actually be new,
Yeah.
right? Because like one thing we forget is that Facebook started off as like was it like at Harvard or Yale?
Oh
Like
yeah,
it
yeah,
started
yeah.
off as an elite college network, and then it became a university only network,
Mm,
and then it became a like, oh, are you a real person and are you in school? And
mm,
then it became a more like, national to global phenomenon. And so like after it left the US, like, yeah, I can see why none of us cared,
yeah.
right? Because then we're just like, oh, I don't know, like I don't know when Facebook became popular in Sweden,
Mm,
right? But after like it saturates Sweden, at that point, like you're not really going to keep up with where it goes globally, right?
yeah.
And so I'm willing to bet that like Latin America and Southeast Asia, especially, like they got Facebook later, and people are just jumping onto it because of like the features they've added, or like it just speaks to them better now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's for sure true. And I think it's all, interesting because I think I thought about like the relationship Japan had to Facebook, but I wanted to bring that up later when we go
Oh
into
yeah.
the Eastern stream platforms that are coming on the horizon. But one thing that I wanted to touch upon before we go on to that was the like just looking at them feature wise. I think I mean it's almost like no use to even look at Mixer right now. But I don't feel like I feel like Mixer in its feature set from what I can remember without like you know researching into like the specific differences now is that Mixer had whatever Twitch had but without personality and slightly worse. Like that's the only thing I can think of. Like there's nothing that's that speaks to me that like yeah, okay, but this was better on Mixer, right? But then
I'll name one thing.
all right.
And it's they could take larger bit rates for your streams.
Okay.
So you could send a higher quality stream, but you literally had to have a better internet connection and a better computer and all that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, because I don't even think, because it probably missed a lot of features that Twitch doesn't or has as well, like hosting or raiding or like
I
stuff
only
like
say
that.
that facetiously because it's like, yeah, they did have this thing because everyone's like, oh, if you want a higher quality, you can go to YouTube Gaming or Mixer, right? But it's like the reason you stream is for the audience. And it's like, where is the audience, right? And for us, it's on Twitch.
Yeah. I think in hindsight, it just becomes like very obvious that Mixer, like I think everyone was just waiting for that extra thing that what was gonna make you like Mixer unique, but it never really happened. The only thing that did happen was that like, hey, now we have Ninja and now we have Shroud on our platform, and it's like, and then what? Like, what's the feature? Like, what's the mechanic that will make me go there? But they didn't really have it. But then when
do you want to quickly like brainstorm what would be like a killer feature that
on
like
Mixer
Twitch doesn't have? Oh, on any platform, right? Or did you want to talk about that when we talk about the new platforms?
No. I mean, that's I don't. It's just like I couldn't really figure out something on the fly.
It's hard, right?
Yeah.
I think this is the problem they all have. Like one thing I was gonna say originally was like trying to create a streaming platform is hard. Like think about the fact that Twitch, like I don't think they really made money, to be honest, ever, right?
You mean
and then
Twitch? You mean?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Like I think Twitch like got a bunch of investment money, and then they kept burning through it, right? And I could be talking out of my ass about this, but their
sounds plausible though.
Yeah, their acquisition by Amazon definitely,
for
allowed them
sure.
to skyrocket.
For sure.
Because Amazon has money to burn, and Amazon makes most of its money from AWS, Amazon Web Services, right? And that literally powers like, I don't know, like 50% of the internet now in terms of like websites and content services and stuff like that. So like the scale that Amazon has is such an unfair advantage because, if you think about Twitch and you think about, millions of people sending like HD quality videos like constantly to all their servers, like Amazon's like, yeah, we got this, it's fine, right? But like trying to imagine any like startup going like, hey, let's make a streaming platform now, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, do you have Jeff Bezos money? Do you have like the infrastructure of Microsoft? Do you have like even Google, right? Has owned YouTube for how long? And it's like, what are we doing with this, right? Like you're literally seeing the what is this, like late stage capitalism / like the monopoly growth, right? It's like the companies we just named are all like top tier tech companies. There's like no one that can step in and make a dent, you know. And even so, Mixer's still only at 0.2% growth.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because I've seen a few people in my feed, like on Twitter, that share like, oh, I don't remember, I can't even remember the names of the websites, but there has been a few, that has popped up here and there that are probably made by regular sized companies. They're like, when I see them in my feed, I'm like, oh, that's cute, it's like a new platform, and I click on it, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna remember this. But yeah, for sure, it's like, how do you even compete with that? But I think, because I got to think of Google, like when you said that, and the only thing I could imagine that Twitch is missing is like improving this kind of watching several streams at the same time. I feel like
search sucks.
Yeah, for sure. Like okay, that's a different thing. I was gonna compare that to YouTube, but like how crap the searching for videos is compared to YouTube is like it's insane. But I was thinking more of the fact that like Twitch went in with this like squad streaming feature, right? And it's super nice feature. And for me at least, when I watched, now they're not happening as frequently because of the pandemic, but when you had like a Smash tournament, right? And they have 3 streams at once. Like they have 2 Smash Brothers Ultimate streams and they have 1 Melee stream. And
so you can watch like all the games that are going on in the same time.
Yeah, and you can watch 3 of them, and even on a cell phone, the user interface is good, But it could be better. And I think on the computer, like, I think the maximum is 4. You can only have 4. Like, why? Why is that a limit? Why can't you, like, fucking go all, like, you're Amazon, you know? Go in with, you know, a PUBG event is happening. Everyone has their own stream.
Give me 8. Give me 16.
Yeah, give me 64. Like,
I almost feel like, I'm like, wait a minute. Let's hold up, Dennis. Like, who needs this?
But I'm just thinking out loud of, like, the things that I would want to see that, like, it's possible, but it's not there. Or, like, some kind of way that you can, I don't know, fade.
I'm just imagining you now with, like, this, like, ultra wide 4K monitor, like, with 64 streams up, like, simultaneously.
And my eyes are like a chameleon.
Look at all the Smash I can watch.
Yeah. Is this like a fucking battle station? Me just, like, sitting in VR, like, clicking on shit.
You post on Reddit. Everyone's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Look at all the streams, dude.
My karma points. But otherwise, like, continuing on the thought of, like, Google, right? I wonder if there's some way to emulate, you know, the good idea of Stadia, because we did the comparison of, you know, like, the streaming platforms are like console wars, right? And I'm wondering if there's, like, some way that you can make streaming more accessible, that maybe the Google would have the power for, in another way than they would have with gaming, you know. And, you know, Stadia was just like a shit show in itself, but it's like, it's like sad to even mention it now.
Once you mentioned Stadia, I was like, let's not go there.
Yeah, let's not go there. Oh, yeah, we have some people in chat too. Cool to see.
Like, I feel like there's no, like, Stadia already launched dead, in the sense that, like, I think sometimes Google gets an unfair rep for, you know, certain things, but I know that they are a company that will launch a product, not support it, and then pull it. And then everyone screams, like, why did you do that? And Google's like, oh, I don't know, shot Pikachu, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Stadia, I don't think is going to be around for much longer. And so trying to, like, piggyback off of that to make some sort of streaming service is probably not going to work out.
I didn't mean strictly to just convert it. I'm just, like, saying that the idea of Stadia, like, what they want, because the idea was
the idea was incredible.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, like that was something people have talked about for so long, like, kind of this, like, federated swarm / like, stream gaming, where you didn't have to have like, really crazy hardware anymore. You could just virtualize all of it. I think they just missed, like, they just don't understand what, like, actual people that buy games, like, want or whatever.
They're, like, so disconnected from reality that they did. But I think just continuing on to, like, thinking about the features for the different platforms, I think YouTube definitely is just, like, as I was saying, with the video system, it just works way better. They just have that way better lockdown.
Yeah, it feels better, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
even if it's the same, like, technology, I don't know what's going on, but YouTube's, like, the way you interact with the video itself to change the quality or change the options just feels better.
I've almost felt that YouTube's search function for videos is almost getting to the point of Google's search engine, of just, like, the straight up search engine, right? Because because, like, the best way to explain that is when I try to find an old meme that I have lodged in the back of my head, and someone says something, and I'm like, oh, I need to reference this. I can go into YouTube and be like, guy doing that thing, and then, like, the meme is just, like, right there.
Here you go.
Yeah, but it's just like the meme is just right there. It has, like, 3,000 views, uploaded 5 years ago. I'm like, yes, finally. Like, there you go.
Did you know? I don't know how up to date this is anymore, but did you know that Google is the #1 search engine in the world, but #2 is YouTube?
Oh, well, that makes sense.
That's how crazy Google's search dominance is. Right, to put that into perspective, like, literally the most searches run. I don't know anymore now, because I think you know, it depends on how many internet users there are in the world, and we kind of talked about, like, how, like, in the last episode we kind of talked about, like, China and their numbers, but, like, just the fact that, like, Google is being used that much, and then their subsidiary is taking the second spot.
Yeah.
It's like number 3 is just like far behind, or like we're not even close to that, right?
Yeah.
So their search is super good.
I think, yeah, and I don't know. So I definitely feel it's it almost makes me go back to that what is it, like some previous discussion we had about the none of the battle royale games have like got it completely right. Like all of them have their own thing that they've made, and I feel like Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook has that thing where it's like they all have their own thing, but like why is no one like doing all shit at the same time? I guess it's like what makes them unique, right? But
yeah, exactly.
But all of these platforms are, of course, I mean, YouTube and Facebook are more active in mostly South America and Southeast Asia when it comes to streaming, but other areas and regions that are like huge into streaming that we can't really forget about is mainly China and Japan. And it's so interesting because it's like China I can understand, but then Japan, like in comparison, in in terms of like people and like how big like landmass and thing, is like weird that they have this so super strong industry for this, that they can have several platforms just by themselves. Like it's insane to think that. I mean, I think the two biggest ones, or like one of the biggest ones in China is like Douyu, right? I might be wrong there.
Oh,
but
like the video service?
Yeah, I think, or the because I don't want to say these names wrong, but there's several streaming like services in China, and people have had their different kind of gripes with them because of the what is it the some of them don't really show the viewers, they only show the popularity like number, so, and that can be inflated by the platform, so you don't really know how much viewership it is, and that also makes it really strange when someone says like, oh, this tournament had like fucking 2 billion people watching it in China. It's like, yeah, but then it could be the popularity number instead of the actual real viewership number. So it's very hard to kind of take those numbers into consideration. But one thing that has happened now is that Tencent, who, I'm assuming pretty much everyone knows what Tencent is because they're everywhere. They're taking over the entire world by now. And another step into doing that is that they have launched their own streaming platform for Western audiences, which is called Trovo. It was actually called Mad Cat for like 2 weeks before they changed it. And the first time I heard Mad Cat, I'm like the shitty controllers? Like what? Like Mad Cats?
Oh yeah, Mad Cats.
Really? But then
I thought about the Mech Warrior, like from BattleTech.
Yeah, but no, but
is my favorite. It's my favorite mech. But what is the clan name for it again? It's the Timberwolf.
I do not know. But
that's some nerdy ass shit, dude.
Well, this is a nerd culture stream,
Yeah.
But no, but so they switched to the Trovo, and just thinking about what you said earlier of like, what does mixer mean? And there's like, what does Trovo mean? I was like, I don't fucking know, dude. It's interesting. Trovo is the new platform by Tencent, and the only reason I'm kind of thinking about them seriously is just because of the sheer amount of power that Tencent has over the entire world right now. They can do whatever they want when it comes to spending money right now, and they can like strong arm game developers that like they have invested in so many companies in all layers of society. It's like fucking, it's scary. Like when you
that's what I was citing earlier, right? Where like Amazon runs so much of the internet, right? They have the infrastructure, right? Yeah, Tencent is at the point where like like games publishing platforms, tech companies, I keep wanting to mention like an e-commerce platform like Alibaba or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like Tencent is in all of those things, right? And so that's where you have confidence in it, because Tencent isn't going anywhere anytime soon, right? And they're probably, considering how eager they are to get everywhere, they're not going to like launch Trovo and then be like, I guess that sucked, and then like throw it away in 8 months, right? At least that's the hope. But I do know what you mean. Like, what does Trovo mean? I don't know. what's interesting to me though is that China keeps doing this thing where they make a version of their platform in China, and then they make one for Western audiences.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, TikTok and Douyin, like that's one of them.
Oh yeah,
Like they're
Douyin,
they're technically the same, but they're not.
Yeah.
You know, and so in this case, Trovo is like, this is for the English-speaking people, right? Like, wait a minute, you know, like what's going on? Because I think in China, like Bilibili is the popular like streaming platform.
Yeah, I'm not gonna refute that. I'm so not knowledgeable about the that region.
Yeah, it's hard to know too, right? Because like, especially for English, in terms of English like media, like all we really get is like, ah, here comes China, like gonna take over the world and shit. Whereas like, well, what if I just want to know about like cool phones and shit, right?
Yeah. But it's interesting. I think Trovo, if I understood it correctly with the name, it's some like lizard or something that
Oh,
I
God.
don't know. Like their logotype is this like, or their mascot is this like green chameleon or something, and that their logotype is also green. But it doesn't really, it doesn't. When I see it, I don't know if it's a streaming website until I actually go on to. Well, the website is trovo.live.
Yeah. To be fair though, I did rag on like Mixer as a brand name, but like brand, so the meaning of the name doesn't matter so much as long as the support is there.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
I definitely expect that to happen with Trovo.
yeah, I can see that happening, and I think one of the interesting things that they have done, because it's very new, it's like super new. I think maybe it's soft launched like a month ago, and I think people that
Oh
knew
yeah,
about,
that's super new.
I think people that knew about Mad Cat when they launched were probably just like, I mean, I got to know it from work, but I think others, you know, people that were invited or like, you know, try to test it out. So the real thing that they have just just announced, which was I think the 23rd, so it was earlier this week, very fresh, is their creator partnership program, right? So we were speaking
Oh,
of
the Trovo 500.
yeah, exactly, and it's interesting because we were talking earlier, and I think that's been mentioned, you know, in a lot of other places too, but like the fact about like the 30 million kind of sum with like the Ninja and Shroud thing.
Yeah.
And then you look at Trovo and they're like, yeah, we're gonna start a program where we give out $30 million to like our partners. And you're like, whoa, hold on,
Yeah.
what is going on here? And
Yeah.
so what kind of, I guess, gamification that they have run with, because I saw this like a beta version of this thing as well, which was basically that if you stream a game for a certain amount of time, then you can go into like a tier based on how many watch hours you have. So if you stream like, what is it, a minimum of 8 unique stream days with at least 60 minutes streaming for each stream, and then the more viewers you have, the higher tier you will go into this partnership program, and then you will get
Ah, okay.
more money from being in that like partnership program. And it's a very interesting gamification where like in the beginning I'm wondering if like someone's gonna view bot the shit out of it, and then they're gonna have like
I know, right?
China on their ass, or and yeah, it seems very interesting. Another thing that I found really interesting in this kind of announcement too is that I think they specifically write out like, can I stream on other platforms while I'm streaming on Trovo?
Right.
And they're like, yes, of course. Why wouldn't you
Yeah,
be
dude.
able to? And
Dude, we gotta do it.
Yeah.
We gotta stream the Twitch and Trovo, get that dirty partnership money, you know, get bought out. Give me a fucking salary for streaming, dude.
But the weird thing is like, because it's explicitly not allowed to stream at the same time if you're a Twitch affiliate. So if you're a Twitch affiliate, you can't stream on Trovo. But if you're if you're not, then you can stream on both, right? So it's a weird thing where it's like Trovo. I am not sure how it works on YouTube and Facebook, but Trovo is basically doing the like, oh, of course we're the good guys, you know. And then it's like, yeah, but no one else does that. So what the fuck? It doesn't work, you know. You can't earn money from both of the platforms if you know if you wanted to, at least with Twitch.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting because the way they say that makes me really think again about consoles, where it's like, you know, we had these like Sony and Microsoft being like fucking, you know, everyone's hating it back and forth and nerd war, you know. And then we had this thing where like I think it was like when they started to finally have cross-platform on consoles, and when they announced that, they were just like, it wasn't like, you know, oh, it's finally coming out, here it is. It's like, of course you can have, of course it's cross-platform. What are you talking about? It's like, what the fuck? Like, we've been waiting for this like for our entire lives. Why are you making it sound so obvious? But now when they came out with this, it's like, you know, oh, you do it, man. We're supporting you. It's like, okay, like I guess so. But it is interesting to see, and I think just by looking at the Trovo site now, and I mean, I might be hitting a weird hour for, I don't know when the peak hours is, because I honestly don't know what the target region is for this website at the moment.
Right.
But the most viewed game right now is like Call of Duty Mobile, and it's it's 665 viewers on that category, and I think in general, like, from my understanding is that they have targeted, and when it comes to games, like mobile games, to stream mobile games on Trovo should be like easy. But then, you know, people are streaming Valorant and Apex on it as well. So I don't know. And all I'm saying when it comes to Trovo is that, like, I definitely think that we're in the early stages where it's like it could potentially be one that's like doing what Mixer couldn't, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I was gonna ask two, like, or I was gonna mention two things. Well, one of them is I had a question. It's when you're a Twitch affiliate, are you locked into exclusivity already, or is
Yes.
that partner?
It's a affiliate. You can, I think and you know, someone can feel free to correct me here, but I do think that it's that you can't stream at the same time. I think maybe you can stream with a delay to like another platform, but you can't, like, Twitch should be first in that sense.
Oh, okay.
And you can upload the VODs from Twitch to YouTube. There's an integration for that, but you can't like instantly have them on YouTube at the same time. And while that's true for affiliates, partners can have it differently. I would definitely, you know, think that like big corporations probably have some separate deal with Twitch, because affiliate is this like, you know, standard, this is how it works. But then when you go into partnerships, that's when you kind of get a different, you know, you can get different types of money when it comes to, you know, percentages of ads.
Oh,
or like
see, that's interesting, because like when I was talking to someone I know, because we have a mutual friend who's a partner, a Twitch partner, and he was telling me that like once you reach partner, the restrictions actually get tighter,
oh
because you do become exclusive with Twitch, and then you can't take sponsorship money or some shit like that. I don't know. Like, yeah, I think you have to negotiate that in your contract.
yeah,
But
I think it's definitely, it's probably different depending on where you are as well, like
yeah,
what
yeah.
region. And I think the consequences might be greater. Like, you still can do
Yeah.
it as an affiliate, but like, what the fuck, like, do you think, I mean, if Amazon could probably afford it to like hire an army of lawyers to like you know, sue everyone, but it's like, they're probably not gonna do that, while
Yeah.
you might get into really bad terms if you do that as a partner.
Because remember, my master plan is to get boosted by you and everyone else to affiliate, and then I'll just stay in the affiliate level. I'll just never become a partner, so I don't have to worry about that shit, right? So
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know.
that's a good plan. By the way, you should follow the Dave on Twitch. Streams every week. You
Yeah,
should
dude.
check that out. No,
You just
but
gotta show up when I'm live.
yeah, but that's where you follow you and hit the bell, you know, so you get the
Yeah,
notification.
yeah. Hit the bell so you get a notification. God damn it.
But
And now I forgot what the other thing was. It was actually the more useful thing. But like, I just had that question. But we were talking about Trovo and
mm,
how, oh, like the feature set,
yeah,
right? Oh, okay, I remember now. Because I was looking at Facebook gaming earlier, and I don't like its interface
yeah,
particularly. Like, you kind of jump into it, and then, like it's almost like a header slash splash page or a
yeah,
hero image. Some people call it that way. Um, and like as you scroll, it kind of gets bigger, and then you can see the VODs underneath. And then instead of like live chat, it's like the live comment system of Facebook, which I
yeah.
always thought was kind of clunky.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
But to be fair, Twitch recently redesigned, and a lot of people are like, "What did you do to this website?"
yeah, actually,
Right.
that reminds me of the, what is it? Just a Facebook stream. Was that? So there's this jazz club in Stockholm, right? That they can't have any audience, so they were starting to stream their concerts like every week, right? And it's so funny. Like my my uncle watches that, and he was like, "Oh, okay, you want to watch it together? Yeah, sure." And then the entire chat is just filled with people that are like, I can tell from their profile pictures that they're like above 50. And then I'm like, oh, cool, I'm the only like 20 something here. So I was just like spamming the chat. I'm like, oh, lol, omega lol, like guy, ease clap. Like, it's just, I was like spamming the shit out of the chat. And I'm like, oh, this is so funny. And then people are like, who is this Dennis? And then like after the stream went down, I was like, I think some day after it said like, oh, someone liked your comment. I'm like, what? And then like the VOD like had all of my like stream chat like everything I've wrote in Steam as comments on the video, and I'm like, no,
You
fuck.
done fucked
Yeah,
up, son.
yeah. So I was like, I sat there for a couple of minutes like deleting all of the comments, and I'm like, god damn it, this makes me look like a total idiot. Where it's just like, because everyone else in my
Wow.
friends circle was just like, Dennis commented on this video 25 times. I'm like, what? No.
Wow,
Yeah,
dude, you're such a boomer when it comes to a boomer platform. Amazing, dude.
yeah, it worked against me, but like that thing actually makes me think of one of the features which I am not 100% if they still have it on Trovo, but they had it on their Mad Cat version, which was the fact of like lurking versus non-lurking, right? Because on Facebook it's like you're if you do anything on a stream, it's gonna show to your like friends and shit if you don't turn it off in settings, and right. But in Twitch, you can kind of be in the background. Someone, you can make yourself invisible, but people can see people in the, what is it, the list of viewers,
in your
right?
chat.
Yeah, but no one really looks at that list if they don't really want to find someone, And then what they had on Trovo or Mad Cat was that if you're logged in, there's a chat command saying, this person just joined the stream. And like when I saw that, I'm like, whoa, this is like way bad, because I was making like like company accounts on that, and then I just clicked on a stream. It's like, oh, hello, GLL. And I'm like, what? No, like that's not. I'm just testing stuff
Yeah,
here.
yeah, that's actually. Oh, dude, that kind of sucks. Cause so like in streamer etiquette, or at least like for anyone who's unaware of this, like, if you join a Twitch stream, but you just want to like not talk to the person, you just want to watch and just be in the background, like it's kind of considered polite to, like, even if they have a bot that knows, that you joined and shit like that, like they shouldn't be calling you out for like
No.
joining their channel, right? Like that's a huge turn off. Because like if you just enter, it's like you're talking about the bar of like 5 old Japanese dudes, and you walk in there like, oh no, sorry, dude. Like you
Yeah.
just want to be able to like invisibly enter and just experience the atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
So the funny thing though is that Twitch doesn't have it by default, but if you have like a bot, you can actually get that granular. I think I may be talking about my ass again, because I know with Stream Elements you can have notifications for follows, but if it's just someone like walking in, maybe it's not a thing that you can really like monitor. But yeah, if if what you're saying is true, and on Trovo, like you just like hey, what's up? Like you just step inside and it's like, oh, hey, what's up, dude? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, no, I didn't want this. I just wanted to like see what you're all about.
Exactly. I think in summary for Trovo, I think it's definitely going to be a platform to look out for, and especially when they start to coming in with that Tencent money to be like, everyone that's streaming this game can only stream on Trovo. Like they can do shit like that when in the future, like, oh, we're investors in this company. Well, here we go. Now you can only stream this game on this platform. But we don't know what's gonna happen. But it just in theory, anything can happen when you have that kind of fuck you China money. That's like
It's so stereotypically Chinese too, by the way. Like I checked it out and I'm like, dude, this looks straight up like Twitch.
Yeah, it's like a carbon
I was
copy.
like, whoa.
Yeah,
it's like it's so good. It's so polished.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's definitely like it looks like a neat kind of alternative to Twitch, which makes me like not want to be here. I'm like, whoa, what did I step in on? Like, what is this like
Oh,
clone
really?
here?
Yeah, because I feel like the familiarity would actually make it easier for people.
I mean, yeah, it does, but since I'm so like have an allegiance to Twitch in that regard, it's like,
do you bleed purple? Is that what you're saying?
God, I fucking hate those like hashtags for the esports team where it's just like, what is it? Like evil geniuses says like bleed blue. And I'm like, God, fucking damn it, you're just like a video game shit. In any case, the I guess the final platform.
Speaking of Japan.
Yeah. Speaking of Japan, the final platform we're gonna talk about is one by Doju Japan, which Doju coming from China, but they have I guess a Japanese office, and now they recently launched a new platform called MILDOM, and I always find it funny when Japanese companies or products.
Do you know what MILDOM means?
No, but I was just gonna say that when they use L or R's in their name, or specifically L's, yeah, because it's like, yeah, I don't know, like why do you? Oh, fuck. All right.
Why do you do this to yourselves?
Yeah. It's like if I don't know, if I had a Swedish company and then I put a J in it and it was supposed to be pronounced with the American J, dude, and it's like, why would you do that? Like everyone in the company would just say it wrong. It's like,
You're always like, it's hard, okay? Like, yeah. we don't pronounce it that way.
It's like a Y, okay? But yeah, so no, I do not know what MILDOM means.
I don't either. I was just curious.
Oh, okay. I was hoping.
Yeah, hoping for like a big brain knowledge bomb, right?
Yeah.
No, I can't even guess.
No, but yeah. So I made an account on MILDOM this week, and one of the things that I found interesting, you just kind of figure out the platform a bit, because I think it's even newer than Trovo, is that you can't make an account. You have to connect it with another service. So
God, wait, what?
Yeah, service? so like you connected with like Gmail, or you connected with like Line, or anything like that, or Twitter. Yeah,
there's no like just a MILDOM account.
Yeah,
dude,
as
what is with all these services like wanting to harvest all your fucking data?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what the first thing I felt was like, whoa, okay, like this is gonna be, I'm already feeling the Chinese influence here with like fucking, it says like Doju Japan. Use your Gmail account. I'm like,
damn it, because I'm always trying to give the benefit of the doubt when it comes to China, because it's like, hey, listen, maybe we just don't understand China that well, right? But it's like every time it's like, hey, here's a new service. Like, what's the catch? We get all your info.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like, cool.
But yeah, and it's interesting because like so for Japan, they're in an interesting spot where I guess they're conditioned to have their products or services custom made and custom tailored for their industry, because it's like it's very well established, and that's what they have expected from previous stuff, so that's what they want moving forward. They don't really like Twitch has gone a really like to great length to make people aware of Twitch in Japan. It's insane. Like the last few years, Twitch has become a real thing in Japan, because they really went in, like they had an office there, they partnered with everyone, they had like huge like events and stuff like that.
I'm happy to hear that, honestly, because like that's the bane of every like foreign company's existence that tries to enter Japan, is that they just don't understand the Japanese market, and that they can't enter because they're not, I guess, doing things the way the Japanese audience wants it to be done.
Yeah, and I think I mean, they're not. It's weird because when you look at any official stream or like an event happening in Japan, they usually always have a Twitch stream and an open rec stream. And if, for people who don't know, open rec is like, or open rec, like recording, right? It's probably for me like one of my like least liked platforms, because it's one of those like, oh, you can watch it in like crap quality, like the stream, like the free version is like, I don't, they probably updated it, but like some years ago it was just like, oh, the free version is 144p, make a paid subscription account for 720p. I'm like, what? And then it's like, it was some person streaming a game, or like ARMS, which has like it works terribly when you activate the special. There's like a lot of effects, so the bitrate just becomes like blurry. And 144p, I couldn't even see anything. It was just like fucking boxes of like flying around, and with like 90s radio,
like a mosaic.
yeah, it's just like the voices was just like, like, oh, cool. I don't even. Okay, cool. But so they have had OpenRec and Twitch, and I do believe there was another platform. But now MILDOM came in from about a month ago, and like it's crazy because they have gone almost the same route as Mixer. It's like we're going like full circle with all of our topic or like specific points today, but they went in with like, okay, they just bought a ton of people out from Twitch, and then just like, okay, now you're streaming only on MILDOM. And so it's weird because if you don't pay attention to Japanese streamers on Twitch, you wouldn't notice it. But if you do, several of them just disappeared. Like if you don't follow like Japanese social media, they're just like everyone just disappeared from Twitch, and you're like, oh, what happened?
Yeah.
And then one of these kind of examples is that so Daigo from no, not Counter-Strike. Whoa, that would be cool. But Daigo from Street Fighter, Daigo Umehara, he has a team called what is it called again? It's like Beast.
Team Beast, right?
Yeah, Cygames Beasts. And they became like Beasts MILDOM, and then everyone that's in the team is like just switched to the platform. And while when Mixer did this with like, you know, with Twitch to try to buy people off, I think it was like in a global setting as well, where it's like, you know, it doesn't have the same impact. But if you're only talking within one country and like a lot of people who just like switch this platform, I think for them it might actually be successful. That and every stream on that platform is Japanese, which I think works for the familiarity for Japanese audiences, where it's like, oh, cool, there's like only streams I understand, like, you know. Or you can go on Twitch where it's just like, oh, you have a Turkish guy, you have like someone from Brazil, like I don't understand what they're doing, and then scrolling down, oh, here's one Japanese one that I can find.
I'll be like Valorant streams, I click on a random one, oh, it's Portuguese, I don't understand.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, it's very interesting to see how MILDOM works, and one of the few things I've noted out of it is that you can clearly see some different parts of like how Japanese streams are in comparison to like in Western worlds. One example of that is like no stream has a face cam. Like I looked through so many streams, and there's like almost none of them has a face cam because of, and I mean, I know you know this, Dave, but like for anyone watching it or listening, is that anonymity or being anonymous on the internet is very important in Japan, and showing your face,
no doxing.
Like, so showing your face or anything that kind of can clue you in who you are in real life is a big no-no. So it's very interesting to see, like, going into all these streams, it's like they can have voice changers, they can have like, what is it, the virtual cams, like when they have a 3D model instead of themselves.
Oh yeah, that's become really popular now, like becoming an anime girl. Like I should try that shit out, dude. It's just like my voice like coming out of an anime girl.
Yeah, but it's interesting. It's like, and yeah, I think because that was the thing I wanted to kind of go. What is it? The comparison to like how people use Facebook streaming, right? Where it's like you share everything, and it's your account where you have your name usually. Like people don't usually fake their name. Yeah, it's
not to Dave. It's David Chang has started to stream live. Like, whoa, buddy. Like,
yeah, exactly. And then in Japan, you have this one where it's like you don't show anything that's personal to you, and I don't know. I'm considering to like try streaming on this platform, just like being the fucking only non-Japanese stream on the platform to see where that leads me. But it's for sure an interesting place now, because now all the like well-known people that you know from the Japanese like esports scene, they're all on this site. Like Raito, who is like one of the best Duck Hunt players in Smash, or like the Street Fighter players, like all of the Valorant, like Jupiter, which is the best or considered the best team, Japanese team in Valorant. They switched their entire team to stream on MILDOM as well. So in another way, MILDOM could also be what Mixer couldn't do, but specifically for Japan, which is it's so weird to me. It's very crazy to me.
Yeah, my only issue is like I don't. Well, I mean, I understand why this happens, market forces, right? Like, I just don't want such a like incredibly like fractured world when it comes to streaming, right? Like Twitch
Yeah.
is a great one-stop shop for me. But that's just because I'm thinking of my own point of view, right? Like, I mean, Korea has had this like issue as well, where like I think when you remember GOM TV
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
like Africa TV, like those were big, you know, platforms when it came to esports and stuff like that. And Japan has had a huge history of it, and in the chat it was mentioned too, like Nico Nico Doga. I think livestream.jp was the one I was mentioning, or maybe
Yeah.
livestream. Wait, no, that's the same word. So like yeah. Japan has had a bunch of these different types of services too, and they keep coming up and they die. And so MILDOM is just another like new one
Yeah.
that's gonna challenge the status quo, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um,
But
but yeah,
yeah,
they all. Well, sorry, what were you gonna say?
yeah, because the thing is that they also has the China money, right? Because it's a Douyu. Because
Yeah,
it might be affiliated with like Douyu Japan, but it's like
yeah,
Tencent
it's
Japan,
still
you know?
heavily backed by
Yeah.
like a huge benefactor, right? And again, this is really interesting to me because it's China's like I think this is like China's soft power play, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're finally funding like quote unquote foreign companies now
Mm.
with their own money because they want to build out these infrastructures that like work outside of China. Like
Yeah.
we've already, you know, we've seen the rise of like domestic Chinese products and how it's like, oh wow, look at all this stuff they have now, right? But now it's like they're applying it to, you know, Japan. I don't know
Mm.
if Korea is like, you know, a big fan of that, but like, you know, now there's a bunch of US or Western apps that like are China funded. And so this is really interesting to see.
Yeah. I wanted to just point out some of the features that MILDOM has for anyone who's curious about the website.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's kind of hard. You can navigate through the website with Google Translate, kind of fine. But one of the interesting things that they do have is that so you have a account level. So it's like gamification in that way that like almost like you have Discord bots. Like the more you write, the more you level up. So they
Oh
have a lot of
God.
different things. So when you look at someone's chat, you'll see a number before their nickname. So yeah, I'm looking at a stream right now and they have like 11 user something says something, and then 48 user something, and it's like, oh, that person is like more experienced on this platform or is more active, you know. And then another thing that they do have is that they have quick send commands, which is like is very interesting. So they like it's basically not emotes, right? Because they do have emotes and they do have like subscription emotes like Twitch does, but they also have text quick send commands, which is stuff like gambare, like good luck, or like
Oh, that's
zannen,
kind of
like
tight.
yeah. So it's just like text stuff to kind of
Canned responses.
yeah, like ine, like how nice, or like that's nice, or like a lot of these things are just like, I think it's also one of those things that kind of lends it to the Japanese audience, where it's like you don't have to say something that makes you uncomfortable. Here's like 8 things that you
Yeah.
can just punch out and support the thing without the streamer being like, "What is this weirdo in my chat?" And they're like, "They're talking about me," and then it's just like, I don't know. I feel like there's a very maybe I'm stereotyping a bit here, but it's like very kind of safe way of doing it, that you can interact with the streamer with a set piece of like texts, not even emotes, like to I don't know. It's a very interesting feature.
I mean, I like that shit. Like, you know
Yeah,
how
yeah.
Twitch integrated that new thing where it's like when you receive a gift sub, you can thank them like immediately
Oh yeah,
by
yeah.
clicking the thank button. Like, I love that shit because it's like I don't want to have to type out like some random dude,
Yeah.
some guy, a guy named McNasty McNugget give me a sub, okay? And I'm just like, bro, I just click a button and the sentence forms that says like, hey, thanks, buddy, for the gift sub. I send
Yeah.
that, I'm done. I
Yeah,
don't have to like figure out your name. I don't have to like, you know, like yeah, that's actually an interesting feature to have like, you know, pre I don't know, prepared responses or just like things to say that everyone else could also say. I mean, yeah, your chat could get really like repetitive because everyone's saying the same stuff. But you know, if you've ever watched a Nico Nico Doga stream, it's literally like a shit ton of like W's and 8s just scrolling across the screen, which I think is a cool feature, by the way. I've seen streamers use that on Twitch as like an integration where like if you comment in Nico Nico Doga style, text like flies through.
Man, we didn't really even touch upon Nico Nico. I forgot about that platform, but that's also, of course, one of the big ones in Japan that's been around for such a long time, and it's almost like iconic, that way of having the text scrolling across the screen, which has been...
there's a culture behind it. There's a fucking Nico Nico culture, you know, like.
And I mean, that exists in China as well on their platforms. They also have the scrolling.
Yeah, Billy has it, I think.
Like,
whoa.
Another just last thing here about the MILDOM features is also kind of interesting, is that you can put money into your account to use on the website, which is like, so instead of, you know, Twitch, you would like subscribe directly by, you know, paying for it, or you would pay for, you know, bits or something. But in this place, you can charge your account with money to like either send a paid emotes, or you can like buy specific emotes or like subscriptions, which is very like this kind of having a wallet on the streaming website is also very interesting to me, and feels very like, I don't know, it feels like it's works for the Japanese audiences. And
isn't that true with Twitch too, though? Like if you want to buy bits, like you have to pre-charge like money.
Oh, that might be true, but in this case on MILDOM, you have like a specific, like even on the homepage in the top bar, it's like charge your account with money. It's like,
geez,
you know,
like
it's just like
face.
Yeah, it's like it's there, so it's like, oh well, I can do that if I want to.
I can understand why though, because I mean, I was about to say like one big reason why streams work in Japan is because of like idols and stuff like that. And so I don't know if you ever heard of this service. It's called Showroom. But like idols would go to Showroom and then they'd live stream from like their studio or like their house or whatever. And if you joined, you showed up as this avatar in this room of like people watching this TV. It was like kind of cute, but kind of janky looking. What was it? It reminds me of like those memes like Habbo Hotel and stuff like that. Where people just like populate an area, but like you could spend money to like buy gifts for her, and like these like items you buy would like show up in that room or something like that. And so I can definitely see that being one of the contributors or one of the like enticing factors of like streaming on a platform, say like MILDOM, where you are incentivizing people to pay money to the streamers, right? I mean, in the end, that's what they all need. They need to be able to take that cut of money to make money. And so when you make it easy for someone to be like, I want to throw money at someone, like a cam girl or something, like here you go.
Yeah.
You know.
But by the way, because I looked at one of the tabs we have open for these like topics, and I just found it like hilarious that Trovo's just chatting category is called chit chat. It's just very it's just very cute. I just did not see that until now, but
it's time to get on Trovo, boys.
Yeah. I think it's just interesting to kind of keep all of these platforms in mind, because if we like, I don't know, I really feel like it is similar to the console wars in that regard, that everyone right now is just like trying to kind of show off their features. They're trying to like one up each other's. People are failing, they're coming new ones, and then they're like the big ones that like Twitch, YouTube Gaming, and Facebook, and then everyone else is like fucking the Dreamcast or Stadia or whatever, right? And I think there's gonna be some time, and maybe I don't know. This is speculation on my end, but I feel like at some point they're gonna probably converge in the same sense that like now consoles are moving forward with the like cross-platform stuff, or like people are just trying to be there for their users as much as possible. So instead of like being, oh, we're gonna be exclusive to this platform, they're like trying to be like, okay, how can we work with them and then let them do their thing, but we do our thing a bit better, like not fighting. And I think at some point stream platforms is gonna get there as well, because right now it's like, what is it? I think it was a couple of months back. Someone told me that there was some issue between Twitch, like Amazon and Google, and then the integration to export your VODs
broke.
to the VODs from Twitch to YouTube broke, and there's this like the shit between companies, and it's like, okay, but shouldn't that be like, you know, that's a good PR opportunity to have, like, hey, guy from Twitch, hey, guy from Google, shake hands. Yay, we work together. And then all the users are like, yay, I use both platforms, you know, like instead of having this. But I don't think we're there yet.
No,
but
not when if you're talking about like streaming movies and shit, where like everyone's trying to fragment their libraries now because they're like, no, I'm Disney, fuck you, you know, like,
yeah,
and it's like, oh, like screw Netflix, we're gonna make our own service.
Yeah. Oh man, don't get me started on that. But yeah, I think this has been a great episode so far. Like we only went with one topic today. I want to remind people of
we're
that.
Still like over.
Yeah, we're still like over an hour into the episode now. But it's. Do you have any closing remarks, Dave, before we move on to the, I guess, outro for today?
Well, let's talk about the juice, dude.
Oh, right. Okay, I know
the
what
recent news.
Yeah, but I guess juice in the sense that it's like it's some of it is interesting and a lot of it is horrible as well. There's
also very speculative.
Yeah, it's basically, you know, we couldn't really mention all of the platforms, streaming platform stuff without actually mentioning the people on the platforms. And I think throughout this week, if you have followed anyone on either esports or just streaming in general, you have probably noticed that there has been almost like a second wave of Me Too, where the movement where kind of calling out sexual harassment or similar events of people or people who have done wrong things that haven't really been had any accountability. They have had no consequences, and now it's I don't know. It's been almost like every day you find new people that have kind of getting outed for stuff that they've done or at least been accused of doing, and it's been crazy if you're following a lot of people in the streaming world or in esports. I think I don't know really where it started, but a lot of people in like Dota has been called out and been fired. The World of Warcraft esports team Method has been like dissolved almost because like the team members left after the co-CEO were, you know, accused of a bunch of terrible shit. And I don't know. And yeah, a lot of stuff has been going on throughout this week, even in the smallest community as the one I'm a part of as myself, the ARMS community, where the pro player Gore Magala got outed, I think yesterday or maybe even last night. So there's a lot of things happening right now in the world, and I think, I don't know if you wanted to start off, Dave, with a comment, or if you just wanna,
just mention it and throw it in the chaos. No, like one thing I was gonna say was I think a big issue, and we kind of addressed it earlier, was how does a company support its partners and its audiences, right? And so when I remember I was saying, like, one issue that people have with Twitch is that it's always like, hey, we'd like something better. Can you please help us out? And Twitch is like, yeah, maybe not, right? And so to give you kind of a roadmap, because actually one guy I know used to work at Twitch, and that's why I mentioned the bleed purple thing, because it's something he did say. He's just a very enthusiastic individual. Okay, I don't have any hard feelings against him or anything like that. He actually did mention that he would love to work on like a new platform. So like we'll see if anything comes out of that, right? But I meant to say a platform that actually enforces its TOS, right? Because that's a major thing that people have criticized Twitch for. is the fact that they don't have a very consistent moderation style, and it leans in a certain direction, right? So people are claiming that like as long as you're a hot chick who might have like slept with someone at Twitch, like you're going to be in the clear. Whereas if you're someone else, you're going to get insta banned easily. Now, how much of this is true or not is really questionable, right? Because I think we've seen instances clearly of like favoritism for people who bring in a lot of money to the platform. And that's kind of like understandable, but doesn't make it right, right? So Twitch is supposed to have this like very clear, defined terms of service agreement with all of its streamers, but they kind of, choose how to enforce it. And from just if you just go to Reddit, if you go to like Twitter, you'll hear stories about like Twitch support being really immature. Maybe some of its developers are also, using their power in a very inappropriate way. Even like executives of Twitch, basically either being like racist or being misogynistic or whatever, right? So it's a huge issue across the board. And so for the longest time, it just felt like Twitch just really wasn't doing anything about it. And, Mixer was a good alternative because their culture is better, right? Like Facebook and YouTube arguably have this like culture in place already that people already don't like, right? People hate Mark Zuckerberg enough. People hate Google enough, right? Microsoft, they're actually kind of the underdog now again. And so when Mixer came about, it's like we have a chance to like build this new great community.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen, right? But thank goodness. I mean, again, we have to judge these companies based on their actions rather than what they say. Like a good example of that is the Black Lives Matter stuff. Like everyone was rushing to put up like a black square and say Activision values black lives, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, but then there's other things that you've done in the past that don't really reflect that, right? So Twitch has literally said, we're going to take action against, certain like severe allegations that have been leveled against our partners. And so they started banning a bunch of people. And so we're like, whoa, like, great. Like, you're actually doing what, we wanted you to do for years, right? But there's some like kind of crazy shit going on because now the big story, I guess. Well, I don't know if it's like the biggest story because honestly, it only matters if you like follow this person.
Yeah.
His name is Dr. Disrespect, right?
Oh, yeah.
I personally don't really like him or follow him because I've heard some stuff about him and I'm just not a fan. But I can respect the craft. Like from what I can tell, he's a good personality. Like like the persona he's created is actually really good for like entertainment, right?
Yeah.
But all the speculation is really about what did he do? Because literally Twitch banned him permanently, and they didn't give a reason.
Yeah.
And he's stated publicly that he was not given a reason. And I've watched the footage of his last stream ever, and it's fucking weird.
What?
Because it's like it was almost as if someone told him, like he was on camera and he was like, he was doing his thing, and then someone tried to get his attention, like in the room he was in. Maybe it was his wife or something, but he was like, he did this motion of like he held his hand out, and then he checked his phone, and then he got like super depressed looking. And then he was watching this weird ass video of like Roblox.
Yeah.
Which is something he would like never. I don't know if he would ever normally watch it, but normally like people say he normally criticizes the shit out of stuff.
Yeah.
And he was just like, he looked like he was staring into space.
Yeah.
And people were like, he's probably crying under that visor that he's wearing.
Oh, man.
And then like at the end of his stream, he actually just went like, we're gonna get through this. Like things are kind of fucked up right now. And then he just goes like, fuck. And then he like turns on his like ending screen. Like he knew he was gonna be banned or some shit, right? And I'm like, it's so weird. It's like one of those like mad like, what's the conspiracy theory behind this, right?
Yeah, it's okay. So for anyone who is listening or watching that doesn't know Dr. Disrespect, I think he's become like an icon in itself for the at least for Twitch, basically, because he has this like extreme persona that he's going into character when he's streaming, where it's like going, what is this, like the 80s gaming champion or something, and he has this like wig on with the mustache, fake mustache, and or no, wait, actually it might not be a fake mustache, but the
probably,
wig,
I think it's a real mustache.
Yeah, but the wig at least is, and it's just like this, you know, with the synth music, and it's like, you know, all in, and he's gotten like insanely huge. I think I would consider him to be, you know, I don't know if it's second, but like close to second when it comes to
well,
like,
after Ninja and Shroud left, he did become one of the top streamers of Twitch, right?
yeah.
And there was speculation that Twitch wanted to, so like Twitch was sad about losing Ninja, right, and Shroud, and they basically renegotiated a super good contract with Dr. Disrespect, because he announced it too. It was like,
Yeah.
I'm staying on Twitch. And one of the theories is that because Mixer's dying and Ninja and Shroud are free agents now, Twitch wanted to ban Dr. Disrespect in order to bring back Ninja and Shroud, and then renegotiate like lower terms with Dr. Disrespect. I think is like extremely scumbaggish, right?
Yeah.
And like hopefully not actually the case.
Yeah, I don't know like what to really make out of this entire thing, because at the same, like similar to you, I like when it comes to Dr. Disrespect, I think I've always just like, I've seen stuff from him, like clips when like weird shit happens on his stream, and you like, you get it in your feed, right? But I haven't really followed him. But at the same time, you know, respect the craft of that him has kind of built this, I guess, small empire out of his like weird persona that is like, it just works somehow. And I don't know, I think the timing is just so weird, and I mean, until
it's very suspicious.
Yeah, and until we actually know what happens, it's like, it's gonna be, it's so weird to like, you know, we had this entire week of people being like, both accusations that were like, you know, very much are like turned, I guess, very true, with some people, with like, some people are accused, are like, well, I did some of these things, and it's like a full tweet longer of like horrible shit, and it's just like, oh, okay, but like, oh, you can't,
Right.
and then this guy just like disappears when this is happening. It's very, if it is like some stunt, it's like the most horrible one ever when it comes to streaming.
Oh yeah, that's another theory, that it's a publicity stunt.
Yeah, but I honestly don't think it is. It's like when I hear that shit, it's like almost the conspiracy theories that you hear of like Nintendo Directs, when it's like, oh, is this game gonna be here? Well, if you line up all the dates that they've done it, like, oh, you know, you got into this like numbers equations and shit that is like, oh, you just don't do that.
I also don't think it's sexual assault allegations either, because I think if that was the case, it would be all over Twitter by now, because I think everyone who's been dragged through that pretty much has a case of like, you know, victim/accuser has a pretty much put it out there, and then other people step forward and say, yeah, it's true because this has happened before. And yeah, that just doesn't seem to be the case with him specifically. Sorry, my buddy earlier like put in the chat, have you heard of this thing called Brime? No, so this is all purely speculation, but like I looked into it really quick, and it looks like Brime is supposed to be some sort of like budding new streaming service.
Oh.
And the only clues available are that like Brime follows Shroud, Ninja, and Dr. Disrespect, or something like that. So it's like, was he trying to like sign another contract like under the table, or like trying to like transition out of Twitch? Whoa, the story, you know, it just keeps getting wilder.
It's almost, you know, if we go back to this like comparison with like the console stuff, and I know I've mentioned it like way too many times during this episode, but it's like the difference is with, you know, console wars is like the products are things, right? It's like games that are made often by hundreds of people that are like optimizing the shit out of something. The difference now, if you have the streaming platform wars, where the products are the influencers that you can't control, like it's fucking like, if you think the console wars was like Wild West in terms of the industry standards, it's like this is like zombie apocalypse rather. It's just like, you know, you can't really expect what is going to happen. I I don't really know what to add to that. I think I'm very curious to hear what actually is happening, and I think from what I've seen and heard from the rest of kind of the streaming industry and such is that the reality, and it's it could be a separate thing from the Doctor Disrespect stuff, but the second wave of kind of Me Too stuff that is happening in the industry now, I do think it is a good thing that people are, telling their stories and that they are kind of seeking some retribution for being wronged. I do feel that it's like it's fucked up because there's no real system to kind of deal with anything of this. And
Right.
so what is the consequences on, for the person who's get the accusations and the victim itself? It's like, it's just like they get affected and you don't, at least I don't know what's happening to them. Sometimes they really, and a lot of the times they might actually, deserve all of the shit that they get. The ones that are getting accusated, by the way, but it's very much like a wild zone right now, and I do feel that one of the things that hopefully is being taken account, like you mentioned, Twitch kind of doing something about Black Lives Matters movement, is that if we're embarking on a new era of streaming platforms, the platforms themselves need to get their shit together to like vet people as well, because I think a lot of, I mean, when you talk about power, right? I think a lot of the influencers that are on this platform, Twitch, I mean, is that they've gotten the power through the platform, right? And they've been going in through this gamified system of Twitch that they've built, and then at the end, they're at some point an influencer, and they have a lot of power. But who's to say who they are? Like, it's a partner system that, there's like thousands of partners in Twitch. Who keeps track of that? So I think there's a lot of things, even from a platform perspective, that now is the chance to actually do better.
Oh, I just realized, well, something that's kind of disgusting is that one of the people that was like accused of this misconduct is actually the head of partnerships at Twitch.
There you
So
go.
it's like it's corrupt from from the roots of it, right?
Yeah.
And that's really, really disappointing to hear. But yeah, I agree with you, because I've thought about this before. And in the States especially, we have this debate about like, should social media platforms actually police their audience or their community? And if you look at it from a more like libertarian, laissez-faire standpoint, it's like, they're just platforms. Let the content speak for itself, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, we have these issues now where it's like, if Twitch just went, just do whatever you want, like, you literally have people gaining influence, like being like a hero to children, and then also like doing very immoral things.
Yeah.
Right. And that's, at some point, someone's got to say like, this is wrong.
Yeah.
And you can't do this unless that's the type of platform you want. And I don't think that is the case for most people. I don't think they want, stuff like this out there.
Yeah.
And also my friend said that regarding the Dr. Disrespect thing, he was, the rumor from 4chan, so very credible source, is that he was trying to recruit people like from Twitch over to Brime. And yeah, I could totally understand why they would get mad about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it just sucks because it's so. This is a very corporate move, right? Where it's like, we're just gonna ban them and then like figure out the statement afterwards, or like we're just gonna have to like have the hearsay later on and see what happens.
Yeah.
But it's always so tempting to like be like, oh, I want to find out the real story. We got to do investigative journalism,
Yeah,
So.
but even when the most famous investigative journalism in gaming, Slasher, says that I know but I can't comment, that makes it even more mysterious, right?
Yeah, sometimes I don't know what his deal is. It's like, hey, you got some really good
Content.
yeah, like a lot of the things he brings up are actually really good, and he breaks a lot of
Stories.
interesting stories.
Yeah.
But like, it almost just feels like a non-comment You know, to
Yeah.
be like, I know, but I won't tell you. Like, get out of here. You know, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Shut
Like, I
up.
don't know what I would do in that position either.
Yeah. I think in just, I guess not as a summary, but like looking at it, it's just like um I feel when these things happen, it very much exemplifies like how young this industry is. And I'm not saying like
Yeah.
shit is not happening in other industries too, but it's especially prevalent in esports and game development and streaming. Like all the trifecta of new nerd culture, right? It's those three.
Yeah.
Game development, streaming, and esports. All of them are so young that like if you're enjoying them as a consumer, great. If you're working with that, I feel for a lot of people because there's so many things, so many rules that should be there but aren't really there. And while it might look nice on the outside, there I think we're like we should do better, but I feel like it's so far away to being an um established industries like all three of them, because they're three separate industries. They're intertwined in a lot of ways, but they are very much separate in a lot of ways as well. And when we have kind of compared, you know, the established sports versus esports, that's when it gets like so obvious that like you know there's corruption in sports too, but like it's not as fucked up as some parts in esports, you know. It's like
Yeah.
people are not getting paid, people are getting abused, like stuff is really happening.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think
Like, talks about unions, player representation,
yeah,
employees' rights. You know, like even just in software development in games, it's like it's still an issue, right?
yeah. So I think if you do enjoy the trifecta of nerd culture, I want to coin that now, is that you don't really have maybe any obligation, but a lot of people are telling their stories right now, and I think it's a good idea to like listen to people's experiences, to maybe not you know, what you do with that is what you will, but listen to people, listen to them and see what they have to say, because there's a lot of experiences right now which maybe it's not the fantasy that people have of some of these industries, but it's very much the reality for a lot of people that are trying to build some things that people love. So as someone who works in esports, I would definitely say to people who are viewing or listening, just listen to people and read what is happening right now. And I guess that's my hot take on the entire thing. But as for disrespect, Dr. Disrespect, I'm just curious. I feel like that guy has probably earned enough money to sustain himself for his entire lifetime, unless he buys like one Lamborghini a day or something. So I think he's gonna be good with whatever happens to him if he doesn't, you know, go to jail. So I'm just saying, like, you know, he'll probably be fine. So yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we've gone well over our normal
That's it,
episode time.
folks.
Yeah, I think that's like usually we have an intermission before we end, but I think for this one we're just gonna go to the outro and end the episode. So let's go to that. And first of all, I just want to thank people who has been in chat. Again, we do have. Now we're trying to out this new format where if you have a question for us, you can go on to the Twitch profile, my profile here at Defur, and we do have like a question section there where you can input something if you want us to answer something, and we'll answer them at the end of the episode. It's very hard to actually look through this chat and being like, oh man, I missed some questions, but very much appreciate anyone who has been tuning in live here or whoever is listening to this afterwards. As always, I'm Defur, and you can follow me here on Twitch, Defur, or on Twitter. And you can also support this podcast by subbing to this channel. I guess that's the only thing I have right now. I'm like, I want to plug merch. I don't really have that yet, but I would want that. So maybe sometime in the future. And of course, you can also follow the Dave, T3hDave, on Twitch and Twitter. And you stream a lot, dude. You should. I think you're definitely gonna be affiliate soon. would definitely want to see that. So if
I
anyone,
would hope so.
yeah, so if anyone wants Dave to get there too, you should definitely follow him there and keep being supportive. We haven't decided what's gonna be in the next episode of TalkGG, but
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. We're just running it. We're trying new things every episode. Hopefully, the mixing of this in terms of audio hasn't been horrible either. So apologies for anyone who's listened through the episode 1 to 4, because they've been very varying in quality and audio levels. So I'm sorry if I've blown out your ears at some point. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thank you as usual, and we'll see you next time with TalkGG. Bye bye.
Peace out.